Welcome back. You're still watching People and Power. Rosa Malango finally closing off her story, the UN resident coordinator in Uganda from 2016 to date. Rosa, as we get to wind up this particular one, what has been your experience working in Uganda, especially trying to look at the challenges and opportunities as opposed to the other countries that you've worked in?
Thank you very much. I think that's a good way to end. So let me talk about my opportunities and challenges from 2016 to 2018, because 2019 my mandate changed.
Okay.
At that time when I arrived to Uganda, a couple of things that, what can I say, challenged me a little bit. Number one was coming to a country to find out it had done so many good things that were not known. Because when you're out in New York, you don't hear about it. So for example, I did not know it had the largest number of refugees in Africa. I did not know that it had this very good approach where the refugees cohabitate with the host communities. I did not know that it did so much in terms of natural disasters. You know, I did not know about the link with Kenya and Ethiopia and the Kanamajong, this indigenous people link. I did not know about post-LRA, you know, because at that time you Googled Uganda and it was LRA, Idi Amin, pause. That was like the end of the story. So coming down and seeing so much of a transformed nation, so many opportunities, so many challenges, so much thirst to learn to do things differently was a big challenge. So, and I had to sit down and try to prioritize, like, okay, how do we do this? On one hand, you have to work with the government so that the policies reflect this vision that they have that is going in the right way. But on the second hand, we had to work with civil society to make sure that they understand they need to have a symbiotic relationship for the country to move forward. So one of the biggest issues at that time when I first arrived was the issue of the environment. And I was told, don't speak about the environment because it's not a welcome conversation. I'm like, no, this is a green, beautiful place. This is the source of the Nile, which I also didn't know until I came here.
Oh.
If Uganda wants to industrialize, it has to industrialize without destroying the environment. Because otherwise it will have the regrets that some of the other industrialized countries have today. So how can we promote the green growth and the green economy? And that was a big challenge. You know, getting the scientific papers, creating the conversations, bringing in experts from Ethiopia and other countries to come and speak, and getting the attention of the head of state. And at the end, we did. It took 2 years, but at the end, he started asking for specific questions on wetlands, and we produced an atlas, and he invited me to go around the country, and we argued and discussed for 3 days on what did I really mean by green growth. And at the end of the day, I ended up with a champion for the environment and the head of state. So that was one of the biggest challenges and opportunities that I saw. The other one was on civic education. When I arrived, everybody was talking about the need for civic education, and I was really impressed to learn about the cultural institutions that you had. So we set up a few programs with them, understanding what are common values, what does Ubuntu Mulamu mean for everyone, what should a civic education platform mean, and I took a team of Ugandans to Ghana to see what was going on. So we came back with the notion of you actually have what it takes to create a Ugandan bred civic education that reflects your positive values and can help you to become a modern society. So those were some of the things that took a lot of energy, and we managed to get some sort of success. In the last one I would say in that episode would be the issue of refugees. It was very, very challenging. You have been hosting refugees since 1988. Actually, some people said from World War II. There's some Polish refugees near Murchison Falls. So it had been done a certain way, but the scale that we were seeing was very high. So trying to make sure that the world understood that and they invested in that was very important. Last thing that I would say, last year was UN Reform Year. So 2019, I started with a new mandate. So instead of leaving, I stayed. My mandate now ends in March 2021. So with a new mandate, I no longer represent UNDP. There's now a separate person to do that. My reporting lines change from the Prime Minister to the President, and from the head of UNDP to the Secretary General. So the challenges there were people looking at you and trying to explain to them you have a different job to do. My job is more now about policy, is about finding solutions, about helping the economy and keeping the country alive. And that is how you find that with the new threat of COVID-19, I am now working on an appeal that brings together civil society, private sector, and Red Cross to help accelerate the national vision of how do you keep people alive while you fight the disease?
Yeah, that's very true. And how has that actually impacted your work? Let's talk about COVID-19 and work, because everything has had to turn around.
Mother of mercy. The COVID-19 has really accelerated the intensity of our work, even though it's changed how we work. So most of our work is now done online. We have online meetings with the partners and with the staff. Every week, I have to submit a critical movements list to the government of those life-saving staff who are doing life-saving activities to keep people alive. I've had to interact with people more closely than I did before. A lot of the national NGOs, youth groups, Uganda Women Network, Uganda Red Cross, all of these people, to try to understand from them what are they hearing is happening on the ground, and then take it up to the government to say, have you thought about this solution in the terms of how do you respond? It's been a bit scary because it's not just Uganda. It's not your typical crisis. As when I've been in other countries, the crisis belongs to the country or to the region, but you have the rest of the world. Now everybody is affected. So the focus really and the challenge has been, how do we help Uganda come up with Ugandan solutions? Because at this point in time, everybody's suffering.
That's very true. All right, well, when your mandate ends, what will you miss about Uganda?
The beauty of the environment, the happiness of its people, and the deliciousness of its food.
What's your best Ugandan food? If we would say so, what's your best Ugandan food?
I just have to say there's something about, I don't know if it's because of the soil, but your vegetables taste so good.
Okay.
The matoke, I also have matoke in Equatorial Guinea. It tastes very good. The fruits are amazing in terms of it, and I really hope that I'll live to a day where Uganda's organic fruits and vegetables are exported all over the world, because it's the best that you have. But I've traveled around Uganda 3 times, and the beauty and the resilience of your people is unmatched.
Wow.
So I will definitely miss those sit-downs that I have with the market women when I go out there, or sitting in a hut along the road when I stop going out, to hear the solutions and innovation that this beautiful country has for its own future.
Have you learned any Ugandan language? Okay, most likely Luganda, because you've been within the central region more.
Not yet. You know, that's work in progress. I don't know when that's going to happen.
But you've learned some words. I had you say Buntu Bulamu somewhere. What are some of those eye-catching words that you've so far learned?
I try, especially whenever I travel, I ask my staff to tell me about how to greet. So I do that. But I'm going to take with me this concept of Ubuntu Mulamu, of, you know, our shared humanity, and the fact that when we brought together 7 chiefdoms and kingdoms of Uganda, they found 70 common concepts.
Wow.
Around dignity and respect and humility and care for the elders and care for our environment. And that just goes to show that what we call today the Sustainable Development Goals, the global agenda, is basically ancient positive beliefs that Africa had.
All right, that's all we had time for. But before we go, maybe I could just speak out 3 languages. I want you to say thank you for being with us in fast Portuguese.
Muito obrigado de estar conosco.
Jesus Christ. This is a little bit hard. We'll go to, you said you speak French too?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say.
Merci beaucoup por votre atención.
Okay, and the other language is Spanish, yes.
Yeah. Muchas gracias por haberme escuchado hoy.
Does it have to always be quick? Like when you're speaking? Or and yeah, your language from Equatorial Guinea.
No, that one I'm not very good at.
You're not
I am not going to massacre that on TV, no.
But thank you. I love that we've maintained the distance, the social distancing had to be here. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sparing time to speak to us.
No, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the job that you do. And really, to all the women in Uganda, you have a fabulous country, you have an incredible history, and your strength is just inspirational. So as long as women, we reinforce each other, I'm confident that the society will be a better one.
Well, and that's all we had time for on People and Power. It's been an inspirational story. There's been a lot of talk for the women to pick out there, and that's it. Let's continue the discussion on hashtag NBS People and Power. You can follow me personally on @Mildred Tohaise. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you.